All right, let's dive right in. Today we're cracking open a classic case file, Agatha Christie's very first novel, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. We're going to break down a murder investigation step by step, not just to find the killer, but to really get inside the head of a master detective, all thanks to this fantastic textbook chapter.
You know, every great mystery kicks off with a headline, right? And this one is a classic. The Essex News reports a mysterious affair at Styles Court. So picture this, a wealthy widow who just recently married a much younger man suddenly dies in the middle of the night. The stage is perfectly set.
Every good investigation has to start at the scene of the crime. And for us, that's Styles Court. We're talking about a grand old manor that is just brimming with tension, secrets, and of course, a house packed with potential suspects.
So who is our victim? Meet Mrs. Emily Inglethorp. She's the wealthy matriarch of the family, the owner of the whole estate. Her marriage to the younger Alfred Inglethorp has stirred up a lot of bad blood in the family. So when she dies a sudden, violent death by poison, well, suddenly everyone living under her roof is under a microscope.
So, who do we have on our list? First up, her two stepsons, John and Lawrence Cavendish. Then there's John's wife, Mary. We've also got Mrs. Inglethorpe's fiercely loyal but very blunt companion, Evelyn Howard. And, of course, the man who stands to gain the most, the new husband, Alfred Inglethorpe. Quite the lineup, isn't it?
So you've got this really messy situation, a complicated victim, a web of motives, a family that's closing ranks, and the local police, they are totally stumped. A case like this, it needs a special kind of mind. It needs a great detective.
And this is where he makes his entrance. Hercule Poirot. He's this brilliant Belgian detective, and as luck would have it, he's staying in the village as a refugee from the Great War. He gets called in to consult by his old friend, Arthur Hastings, who happens to be staying at Styles' Chile, and becomes our eyes and ears for the whole investigation.
You know, the way Hastings describes him, you'd never guess he was a world-class detective. He's this meticulous, almost comically proper little man with a head shaped like an egg and an incredible mustache. But, as Hastings points out, his eyes, they're green like a cat's, and they don't miss a thing. His appearance is totally deceiving, hiding one of the greatest minds in detective fiction.
All right, let's tag along with Poirot as he gets to work. For a true master, the investigation doesn't start with throwing around accusations. No, it starts with quiet, methodical, and incredibly precise observation. Now this is where it gets really clever. Not just with the plot, but with the language itself. Hastings tells us the house was constantly besieged by reporters. Now that's not just a random word. It's chosen to paint a picture of a family under attack, basically trapped in their own home, with the pressure just building and building. Think about what that word besieged does. It's not just a description. It tells you about the pressure cooker environment inside that house. And what happens when people are under that much pressure? They make mistakes, and that is exactly what Poirot is waiting for. And then bam, you get this contrast. While the family is feeling besieged and trapped, the detectives from Scotland Yard are described as lynx-eyed, another fantastic word choice. It gives you this image of a sharp, almost predatory focus, a gaze that just cuts right through all the drama to get to the facts. And that right there, that's what being a detective is all about. It's not just about looking at things, it's about seeing them. It's about having that sharp-sighted gift for spotting the one tiny detail that just doesn't belong, the little inconsistency that can unravel the entire lie. This is Poirot's superpower. So what's his secret? It really boils down to this four-step method. He observes the scene. He listens carefully to what everyone says and doesn't say. But the key is he actively searches for the unusual, the thing that's out of place. And once he finds it, he puts his famous little gray cells to work to figure out what it all means.
And this exact method is what leads him somewhere nobody else even thought to look. The attic. A place for forgotten things, right? He finds this old chest, crammed with all sorts of old clothes and junk. He seems totally uninterested at first, poking around, until he suddenly blurts out an exclamation. He's found it. He's found something that everyone else overlooked.
And what does he pull out? You're not going to believe this. At the very bottom of the chest, a magnificent and very fake black beard. I mean, talk about unusual. What in the world is a fake beard doing in a dusty old chest, and how could it possibly connect to a poisoning murder?
Okay, so a weird beard is one thing,
But what if the biggest clues aren't things you can touch at all? Sometimes the most telling evidence is hidden right in the way people talk, or even in the grammar of how a story is told.
I know, it sounds a little crazy, right? A grammar rule? But stick with me here, because this is where it gets really ingenious. The way you structure a sentence can reveal a ton, or it can hide everything.
Let's break this down. Take the active voice, Robin was painting the walls. Simple, clear. We know exactly who's doing the painting. But now let's flip it to the passive voice. The walls were being painted. See what just happened there? Robin has completely vanished from the sentence.
And that's why this is such a brilliant tool for a suspect. Instead of having to say something incriminating like, Mr. Inglethorp dropped the poison, you can just say, the poison was dropped. The action is there, but the person responsible? Poof, gone. It's the perfect linguistic hiding spot.
All right, let's take everything we've just talked about, that sharp-eyed observation and this bit of linguistic detective work, and go back to our big, weird clue. What is the deal with this mysterious beard?
So Poirot does what he does best. He listens. He has a chat with a loyal housemaid, Dorcas. He casually asks if there have been any parties or theatricals recently. And she remembers something. Mr. Lawrence, one of the stepsons, had borrowed some black wool from her to make a beard for a costume party. He went as the Shah of Persia.
So, we have an explanation, sort of. We know where the beard came from. But finding it in that chest, right after a murder, that just raises a whole new set of questions. Is this the vital clue that points the finger at Lawrence? Or is it just a meaningless coincidence, a classic red herring designed to send everyone down the wrong path?
And believe it or not, that's where we leave things for today. As our source material says, the case still seems pretty baffling. We've got the clues, a house full of people with motives, a brilliant detective who sees what everyone else misses, and one very strange costume beard. All the pieces are on the board, but the full picture isn't clear yet. Poirot, well, he's definitely got his theory. The real question is, what's yours?